It's been a while,
It's been a while.
but we're back. I'm Aisha,
I'm Sarah,
and
and we're
we're
hard pressed. Pretty good.
We're taking a break. It was like seamless.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a check-in, everyone. It is the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
We're creeping into February because that's what comes after January. In case anybody needed some.
Gosh, it went fast. Like, huh?
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 Today we're going to check in on our New Year's pledges. We're going to expose ourselves here and be very vulnerable because that's what we promised. And
Yep.
ultimately, we'll have some pretty spicy news.
I don't know. Is it spicy? I feel like it's not spicy.
I don't know.
You feel spicy about it.
No, we're still trying to keep the audience
Reel 'em in.
guessing.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Is it working?
They're like, no, done. I don't care.
I'm bored already.
Yeah. But so far, I've done somewhat well on my pledges. I know. I'll start with what is going well. I'd say 90% of the month I've woken up? I've woken up?
Woken up.
Waken? No, woken.
Woken up.
Why does that sound so weird?
Woken.
I've woken up.
I be woken.
I've been waking up.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. I have woken up.
I've been woken up. Waken.
I have been woke the last 90% of January.
I've slept. Oh.
Okay.
Sure. What's been going really well for me is 90% of January, I've gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning as
Nice.
I planned. There have been days here and there that I've slept in a little bit. Usually it's because I went to bed past my bedtime, and then here and there just forgetting to set an alarm. But I'd say solid 90% of the month has been consistent about a 5 a.m. wake up. Wholesome eating has been really good. I've been really focusing on my nutrition, fueling my body with premium gas, as you said. That has been going very well. What else?
What are some of the effects that you've experienced of doing those two things? Let's start with the 5 a.m. wake up
The
call.
5 a.m. wake up, I feel like I have more time to dedicate to several things. I feel less set up for a day that is rushed because I have the morning to really take my time, and usually it's the mornings that I put aside to going to work out. But sometimes I don't do that and just enjoy my morning, reflect, and get my personal development tasks that I want to get done. So, or self-care really. Devotional, meditating, journaling, all that fun stuff, reading. That's what I've been dedicating to that. And I have a lot more energy throughout the day, but then by the time that I'm supposed to be crashing, I'm done. So it's forced me to be a lot more consistent. It's forced me to say no a lot and being really strict about my bedtime because it's lights out at 10 o'clock, asleep. So I'm in bed by 9:30 the latest to be asleep by 10 o'clock. So I have a full 7 hours. And that consistent schedule has been working for me. So less fatigued. I feel like it's helped my discipline for the most part, not on all counts. So that's a benefit from that. Wholesome eating, I don't feel like bleh.
Wait, I have a question about the 5 a.m. wake up call still. So, how long does it take you to get back into that rhythm after you've stayed up too late and let yourself sleep in?
The next day, I just
Okay.
go back to it.
Just like that?
Just like that. Might maybe take a little bit longer to fall asleep, but I'll still get up at 5. The longest I'd say maybe there's 2 or 3 consecutive days that were later, and then after that I just got right back into it. But usually I can just snap back into it. But yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Eating, when I say wholesome, I'm just eating less processed foods. That has done well, just as expected. I think that also plays a part to the energy levels I feel. Um, I'm a big Andrew Huberman fan, so I do a lot of things, not a lot of things, some of the things that he recommends, or really not recommends, but does for himself that I'm trying out. So, like my morning, I don't really eat until much like 11, even though I've been up for since 5, so I'm still in that fasted state, and then drink like an electrolyte water in the morning, um, and then work out in the morning fasted. And I feel it's been going great. Nutrition's been on point. Forces me to cook, and I really do like cooking. So that's a little more helps with self care too, because I genuinely enjoy that. What else? So that's what's going well, and even just dedicate.
What about your drinking? No drinking?
Yeah, no.
Good.
Yeah, the last time I drank was New Year's Eve. Yeah, I had some wine that night. Did I? I had, oh my gosh, no. So I had, or at least I think I drank half a glass, and I said, I can't. I immediately bloated.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't drink the way I thought I did. No, yeah, I had a couple sips, and I was like, no, thank you. But no, have not drank since then.
Nice.
Yeah. First wedding is in April, and we'll see then if I want to drink then or not. So yeah, no drinking. Fitness. Not my best.
No?
Not my best. I've been better. I started running again, which is maybe once or twice a week. I'm getting back to it slowly but surely. The goal of the end of this month was to be able to run 30 minutes consistently in that zone 2 cardio, which means like you're able to talk while doing this cardio. So it's like a jog. And then just getting back into the gym. I switched to where I was going to a different gym like that I'm part of, and that's helped a lot because it's a different layout. It's much bigger, more space for me to do what I need to do, and not a lot of people there. So that's helped. So out of January thus far, I've had 12 exercise days. So not my best work, but better than the month before. So I'm hoping February will be more like 20 out of 29 days of exercise. I'm looking at big picture, and in my calendar on my fridge, I'm like writing the days that I'm exercising or that I did exercise, so I can see visually how much I've like accomplished my goals. And then in my planner, I have like habits, and I'm checking them off, so I'm looking weekly what I'm doing and keeping track of it that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
Really measurable.
And I'm holding myself accountable because I'm visually putting it on my fridge of like, look, you didn't work out all these 3-4 days consecutively. Let's add more. It's in blue markers, so let's add more blue to the calendar.
Right. And it just simplifies things a bit and gives you a big picture view. Like you said, instead of beating yourself up and getting consumed with the fact that, you know, oh, I haven't worked out in 3 days. Like, I might as well just not. You can look back and see, oh, well, I mean, I worked out 5 out of the last 10 days. That's half. That's a lot better than nothing.
Right.
So might as well just go move my body and be active.
Exactly. And I'm focusing less on the, Monday through Friday schedule, getting everything done within that Monday, or really Monday to Sunday. I'm just getting it done where it fits. Because I think it's so easy to be like, I'll start on Monday. Like, if you don't finish the rest of the week, you're like, oh, wait, I'll just start again next Monday. As opposed to just, like, doing it when I have the time to.
Fit it in where you can.
Exactly.
And then it doesn't matter. Monday, Tuesday, Friday.
It's all the same.
You're just moving your body for the sake of moving your body.
It's really a mental block of, like, you need to start on a week, of like a fresh week.
It's like, an excuse, ultimately.
An excuse. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. It's good. It's hard. It's been, like, work's picking up, too. So it's hard staying disciplined, but I really enjoy the benefits that I'm getting from it. Yeah.
So for me, I've been reflecting a lot to kind of gauge how I've been doing. And I still haven't really done like the intensive writing portion of the goal setting.
Okay.
But I have been very focused on the discipline aspect and holding myself accountable. It's like the smallest example, but I started flossing again regularly every night. And
You weren't flossing regularly before?
no, most people don't floss regularly.
Oh,
That's just not like, most people just don't. That's just how the general population is.
I don't want to know that.
I mean, now you know.
Now I know. I can't. I have to.
Well, good for you. We can't all be Aisha freaking Kimball.
Ain't that the truth? Well, I'm proud
Brat.
of you for flossing.
But it's funny. So, anytime I was thinking, oh my gosh, I just don't feel like doing this right now, I thought to myself, this is the most important time to do it. And I get my butt up out of bed and go do it.
I love that.
Yep. I know. Our podcast helped me.
Oh, that makes me so happy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, like, it actually was such a simple thing to me that it just clicked. It made sense. Like, just do it. Just go do it.
Hey.
I have been still very, well, okay, so I want to break up my month into 2 parts.
Okay.
The first half of January, I was really diligent and very focused on just overall well-being. And the second half of January, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
it was just incredibly overwhelming with work, with life. Everything was just all consuming, and I felt like I was just treading water. And so, I mean, there were several days recently where I did not eat anything all day until like 3 or 4 o'clock, doing active work, not just sitting at my desk, but on site at an event setup. And I had a come to Jesus with myself one day when I like stood up and my vision literally went black and I had to sit down like very quickly because it actually felt like I was going to pass out. And it was just a moment of, keyword for the year, accountability. And instead of saying, I don't have time to eat, I'm super busy, I need to start preparing myself for success. So I would say there's a lot of room for improvement still. But that's why we do these check-ins.
Exactly.
Because I think I need to just I think I need to be more specific, like we were talking about, refocus and write down the steps and prepare. I think I'm still kind of figuring out how to not let myself kind of shut down after a super exhausting day because, oh gosh, I did so much at work today. I'm exhausted. I don't have energy for anything else. But then that has a trickle-down effect. So, yeah.
Which, here's a way to think about it. If you're so exhausted after work, how are you staying up?
Right. I know.
It's more so just a shift in mindset of how are you able to stay up versus getting what you want to get done. Mm-hmm. And just shifting that energy to that.
Yeah. It's very telling to how, like, the effect that scrolling on your phone has. Oh. Like, it actually just, like, wakes you up.
Yeah.
It gives you that dopamine rush. And I was watching a video about, and you know what? I'll say this. I've been better about learning about how what I'm doing is affecting me as an individual and how I function. So someone who has ADHD has a dopamine seeking mind. And when you're scrolling, you get that hit of dopamine. And so I think that's why I'm more prone to doom scrolling at night. And it's why it keeps me up, because it keeps my mind going. It gives me that dopamine fix. And instead of just letting myself rest, I'm activating that part of my brain that feels good to activate. But when in reality, our brains aren't meant to experience that dopamine hit all the time.
Yes.
And so that's something that I'm trying to learn more about, trying to understand and implement changes to, act accordingly.
Have you set limits on your apps? You should try that.
I don't even really know, like,
yeah, you can set screen time limits on.
does it just pop up with a reminder and say, like,
and
hey,
you've
you've hit your limit?
Down. You can obviously unshut it down. It'll say like 1 more minute or 15 more minutes. So you can continue to use it, but at least there's an active, like,
hey, you've been on this for too long.
And also, I use my screen time. I put it on my widgets on my phone, so I'm aware of how long I've been on my phone. Mm-hmm. I don't ever let it surpass 3 or 4 hours a day.
How do you track that, though, with work?
I don't use my phone at work.
Oh.
And also, it's telling of what apps you're on.
Okay.
Because you don't need, Instagram shouldn't take up more than 30 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
It tells you what apps and how long. It tells you how many pickups. We've looked at this before.
Right, yeah.
But it breaks down how long you're on what app. So if you're messaging and on phones for a longer or FaceTime, that's different. But it's more so if your social media apps have the highest.
Right.
TikTok, Instagram, all that fun stuff. If that's higher than your rest, then that's the issue. Mm-hmm. But I'm very cognizant of my screen time because for me, it's very... I work remotely. I look at screens all day already. So that already just makes me not want to be on screens more than I have to. Mm-hmm. But in terms of being on my phone where I'm not actually being super productive, unless I'm actually getting something done, I really don't want it to be more than 2 to 3 hours a day, really.
Yeah.
For anything. Because it's just wild to me. Even for myself, when I'm on my screen for 2 hours or 3 hours, I'm just like, imagine sitting a kid down on an iPad or screen for like 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours at a time.
A lot of people do.
I know. But we know that that's not good for kids.
Right.
And we know that's not good for us. I like to put it in kids' perspective because I'm just like, well, when I become a mother, God willing, these are the things that help me put it to perspective.
Right.
Like,
you got to take care of your children. You have to take care of yourself the same way you would take care of your children.
Exactly.
And set that example for them if you don't want them to experience that. And something I've seen is whenever my daughter watches too much TV or she's like on the iPad for too long, really the only time I give her the iPad is if I like really need to do something and I really need to get ready without like the, constant interruptions. But she's grumpier afterwards. Like she has more of an attitude and I'm like, okay, nope, we can get rid of that iPad.
Yeah.
But I think that's very telling because we know how to regulate those emotions a little differently, but we can actually see that result of too much screen time right in front of our face.
Right.
Yet we still do it ourselves.
Yes. And I'm not anti-screen by any means whatsoever, but I think there is always a limit to that. And it's interesting that you already see it with your daughter. Mm-hmm. And even with myself, I don't feel good after. I'm very aware of how I feel when I'm doom scrolling and even after. But I've gotten to the point where it's just 5 to 10 minute spurts at a time here and there because I'm just like, it's happening. It's the comparison, the not feeling good about yourself. It's all happening. And I just have focused on the feeling that I'm getting as I'm doing it to be just more mindful when doing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that we've talked about how we're doing, which actually I wanted to touch back on yours. So your initial pledges, from what I recall, were consistent sleep and eating right.
Learning more about the way that my food has like an effect on my body and my brain.
And how is that going specifically? I know you touched on like a day you didn't really eat,
Right.
but like what have you been fueling your body with and how?
I have been trying to cut back on the caffeine because of that one podcast where it says, and honestly, I didn't even really finish the podcast, but it says that it restricts blood flow to your brain, and really that's all I had to hear. I mean, I haven't cut out caffeine by any means, but I'll have my coffee in the morning and not necessarily go back for more coffee or multiple energy drinks and just drinking it for the taste and like the what I think is going to be a burst of energy or burst of focus, when really I know it's leading to me not actually being able to process what I'm doing, because I actually am going 100 miles a minute instead of a reasonable, attainable speed.
Right. And on top of that, what I've done recently, well, I stopped drinking coffee a while back, or caffeine in large amounts. I really just have tea now. But decaf coffee, I've noticed, will give me the same false like jolt of energy. Not necessarily jolt of energy, the same feeling that coffee does when I'm drinking coffee, because I'm like, all right, like I usually drink it right before doing something. So I wonder if like you try decaf coffee and see if you get the same mental effects of, not necessarily of the caffeine, but just of the experience of coffee itself.
Right, because I love coffee.
Yeah,
it's just
delicious.
good. Like,
yeah.
Whenever my boyfriend's here, we drink coffee. Like, it's our thing. I love drinking coffee. We'll drink coffee together at 10 p.m.
Right.
Just because.
That's crazy that you guys drink coffee at 10 p.m.
But it's just like
Decaf.
drinking coffee just makes me think of him.
Right. That's fair. And then.
But there's no reason why we can't do decaf.
Right. You said, I remember you saying a new word a week.
Yeah, I have not done that.
That's fair.
I have been very cognizant about how what I am saying is affecting other people.
Good.
And not even just other people, but what am I saying to people by what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. So my tone of voice, my body language, my facial expression, all the things. And especially at work, am I speaking in a way that is commanding respect? Or am I speaking in a way that gives people the understanding that, it's going to be okay if you don't listen to me. I'm just going to brush it off,
Yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It's definitely challenging, but growth.
And it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So now, knowing all this stuff, I had to deep dive and think what I want to do differently moving forward, and how to make sure that the next check-in, I'm better than this one. The 5 a.m. wake up, that's easy because I can, again, 90% of the month, to me, that's a win. Maybe next month will be my 95. The big one that I want to be more consistent about is just getting exercise daily. And exercise doesn't necessarily mean going to the gym daily, but more so getting some sort of physical activity daily. And that's what I want to be good at, even if it's just yoga or mobility in my apartment. So that one is the one that I want to push forth more regularly. My devotionals, I'd probably say 85% of the month. And then journaling, that's been low priority. So those are the big ones that I want to, and meditation. Oh, that one's not been that great either. So that is just refocusing that time, like my morning time, to that. And then using my lunch breaks at work to incorporate one of those as well. Because that's a great way to just refocus after like the morning to finish off the remainder of the day strong. It's been overall just a crazy January, and I feel like I haven't stopped.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
This January came in hot.
What? Spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think moving forward, just taking more time to recalibrate at the end of the week, and essentially having more sit downs with myself, when Sunday comes, and just focusing, okay, how did this week go? What could I have done differently, or what went well? And then focus on what went well, and then put that into the next week and focus and do the things that went well, and see what happens when you just do the things that went well. So I think that's how I'm going to try and do better next month. It's just doing an evaluation at the end of the week, as opposed to just taking it day by day. Obviously still doing that, but more emphasis on the reevaluation and just reflecting.
Like a
on the week.
recap.
Exactly.
It's like the Monday morning quarterbacking,
Yeah,
but in a beneficial way.
exactly.
I need to do the actual planning part that we were preaching
Yeah.
a month ago.
Right.
Straight up. I haven't done that, and I think that having something to refer back to and just read, even if it's in the morning when I wake up, or something on my fridge to help remind me, that's really all it takes to remind myself of what my goals are, because then from there, my brain will do the rest. I will do the rest, because, it's as simple as knowing if you don't feel like doing it right now, then do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
It's huge.
Nike.
Sponsor, please.
Sponsor us.
Nike. Sponsor us.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
Gets an email. We will not. Won't even email us.
The Lulu.
The Lulu.
That's been such a funny term to me
Yes.
lately.
I love it.
It's like not. At first, I hated it. I was just like, oh, it's so annoying. Delulu. Ugh. Why do people say that?
How do you really feel about it?
Oh my gosh, it was so dumb. But then I saw it, and I don't know why something clicked. I was like, are we just saying this because it is dumb?
Yeah.
And we just like it?
Yeah, because you're being Delulu. How silly does that sound? You're Delulu. What are we going to do better? So how are you going to do better? Or what are you going to do differently? Apart from the planning.
I wasn't prepared for this question. I think I'm going to start simple. I'm going to start by saying my bedtime out loud to my boyfriend, because most of the time we're FaceTiming, and ask him to help hold me accountable.
Because you know he will.
I know he will. He will hang up the phone at 10 o'clock if I say my bedtime is 10 o'clock.
I probably made before, so you're asleep by 10.
Yeah. But he just loves talking to me.
And you love talking to him.
Absolutely, I do. Fuels my soul. Yeah, that's where I'm going to start. And then from there, I think everything else will start to fall into place. I'm going to write my pledges on a piece of paper, put them on my fridge.
Reminder.
Yep.
Daily.
Keep it simple. That way, it's a constant reminder of the goal, so I don't allow myself to get caught up in the busyness of life, because it's not going to slow down. It doesn't feel like it's going to slow down. So I have to control what is in my control and make conscious decisions to enable myself to have that time to plan. And when I do have that time, to take advantage of it and not just scroll on my phone.
Well, shall we share with the class?
We shall
What
share with the
big
class.
revelation we had.
Yeah, and it ties in nicely to kind of what I was just saying, and that's being aware of what I can and can't do with my schedule without giving up on things that I'm invested in just because they're difficult, but also recognizing when I'm being stubborn or unrealistic about the expectations that I'm placing on myself and how they're getting in the way of achieving the goals that are at my core. So, really, what we discussed was we saw that, well, we both knew it and you felt it a lot, but a lot of the work when it comes to hard pressed ended up falling on you. And that wasn't fair. It's not. And so ultimately, the decision that we came to was that I need to take a step back. And I need to focus on this really on myself during this really demanding time in my life and realize that right now my career is incredibly demanding.
And it's taking off.
And it's taking off. And my time with my daughter is crucial, that I'm present with her. And my relationship is incredibly important to me. And with it being a long distance relationship, it takes more effort to maintain. And on top of that, I need time to take care of myself. And as of right now, adding this, as much as I love it, adding this to my schedule is pushing me over the edge of being able to manage my own schedule in a healthy way. And to not feel like I'm treading water, barely, like with a couple weights tied to my waist.
Right.
So, yeah, it's sad. And I cried because number one, I felt like a quitter. And number two, I love doing this. And I wish that I had more time to dedicate to it. And if I were to say, oh, you're just not making the time, I could make the time, but then I would actually have zero time to do anything else.
Right.
So just trying to be realistic instead of promising things to people, especially the people that mean the most to me, you, promising things that I can't maintain.
Right.
I know.
Yeah. But
It's not forever.
it's not forever. And I'm going to test out the waters and see if I can keep hard press going, because I think we've built something pretty beautiful here, and it'll just be you and I. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I can't promise, as of right now, I can't promise that it's something I can keep going, or I don't know. I can't even say I can't promise. I don't know if this is something I can do on my own, period. But all I can do is try, because I do love doing this. It's something I didn't think I would, but I do. So ultimately, I'm going to try and see what happens. Obviously, your girl will be on every now and then.
I'm still going to be here for the check-ins.
Yes. Oh, you best believe we'll be checking in. I don't know what my frequency is going to be like yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be every week or every other week or when. But I do know that I want to try and keep it going, because I do think that we just built something so special.
For sure. Yeah. We invested way too much time and energy, and the vision is there.
Yeah.
It's just about figuring out how to realistically execute it,
Exactly.
given the stages that we are in our lives.
Exactly.
So I think you guys are going to probably see some guests.
We sure are.
So that's fun.
We're going to do some guests. There will be some solo episodes, which I'm petrified of doing.
Oh, you got this.
But,
I'll be back.
yeah.